So yesterday we have discussed about the plant, respiration in plants. Okay. So today we'll see the reproduction in organisms, how the reproduction in organisms takes place. So if we see the reproduction in organisms, so the characteristics which we can see here, the reproduction process, it takes place in the living organisms, in one or more living organisms of the same kind. So the reproduction takes place by sexual and asexual. We can see two types of reproduction, sexual reproduction and asexual reproduction. So here if you can see, even it's there in your course book also. So firstly, we'll see the characteristics of asexual reproduction. What asexual reproduction is. Okay. So here, if you see the characteristics of asexual reproduction, only one individual is involved. In asexual reproduction, only one individual is involved. New individuals produced are genetically identical. So example for this asexual reproduction, if you see here, I'll just show you. You can see the amoeba, binary fission in amoeba. If you see, the identical individuals are being produced. They are identical, isn't it? The daughter cells are identical to the parent cell. The two cells which are being produced from the parent cell are identical to the parent cell.
Ma'am, is there one parent?
Yes.
Isn't there only one parent?
Yes, from one parent, one individual. It happens from one individual. Only one individual is involved in binary fission. Here the cytoplasm divides and then it separates. Here the nucleus also divides. Here in this picture, if you can see, here firstly, if you see here, the cytoplasm first divides. Firstly, if you see what the process takes place, the second step here. Here this is the first step. In this first step, so in this first step, first the nucleus inside the amoeba, it divides into two, and then the cytoplasm divides. Then it separates into two individuals. Now the nucleus is completely divided inside the amoeba. Then it tries to separate, it tries to divide the cytoplasm. Then completely they separate. Now they both have separate nucleus. They are identical. When the division is going on inside the amoeba, when it tries to divide through binary fission, when it tries to divide, then what happens? The nucleus, it tries to separate, it tries to form another nucleus, it tries to divide, equalize the chromosomes inside the genetic material takes place. There is a long process. In your higher classes, you'll go through it, how the chromosomes are being divided. In the parent cell, how many, so it happens. There is no need for you to go in detail now. In future, in your higher classes, you'll be going in detail about that. So firstly, in this binary fission, it is an asexual mode of reproduction. Sorry, excuse me. So in this binary fission, it is an asexual mode of reproduction. Two individuals are formed from a single individual. So here if you see, parent cell is a single individual. From this single individual, two more daughter cells are being formed. Two individuals are formed from one single parent. It's commonly seen in unicellular. This is a unicellular organism. Amoeba is a unicellular organism. So even in amoeba and in paramecium also, you can see this asexual reproduction in amoeba and paramecium. Okay. So these are unicellular organisms. In binary fission, a single cell divides into two daughter cells. Is the screen visible to you all, or I should increase it a little bit? Shall I increase the size of my slide?
Okay, ma'am.
Is it visible to you all? Okay, I'll just increase. One second.
Now, okay.
Yeah. Now you can see it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So here if you see, the daughter cells are morphologically and genetically identical. So the daughter cells are identical now. They are same, isn't it? So in binary fission, this binary fission occurs in favorable environmental conditions. The binary fission occurs in favorable environment conditions. If the environmental conditions are favorable, then it thinks of division. The cell thinks of dividing itself into two. If the conditions are favorable, environmental conditions. In binary fission is seen in bacteria, yeast, one second. Here, the slide is being changed. Just one second. I'll just stop this here. So in the binary fission, here it is seen in bacteria, yeast, oh sorry, just one second. So here if you see the asexual reproduction, it is actually the mode of reproduction in which here if you see only one individual is involved in this. If you see this asexual reproduction, the characteristics of this asexual reproduction, only one individual is involved in this asexual reproduction. Okay, new individuals produced are genetically identical to the parent. They resemble same. They do not appear differently. Like you have different face, you don't have similar characteristics. Your face is not similar to that of your sister. Your faces are different, isn't it? But here in asexual reproduction, the individuals produced, they are genetically identical to the parent. They are same just like parents. They don't show any dissimilarities. It is a rapid mode of multiplication found in lower plants, animals. So if you see this, so if you see, this can be seen, asexual reproduction can be seen in binary fission. Usually the binary fission, in asexual reproduction, you can see binary fission. It is being divided, asexual reproduction is being divided into 4 parts. Binary fission, budding, spore formation, fragmentation. You can see on the screen, you can see asexual reproduction is again divided into binary fission, budding, spore formation, and fragmentation. So in this asexual reproduction, all these 4 things are going to happen with only one individual. With only one individual. Okay. So here the example is, firstly we'll see the binary fission. Okay, children. We'll see binary fission. So here, if you see the binary fission, this is the first part of asexual reproduction. First differentiation. So in the binary fission, amoeba. In the case of amoeba, the binary fission, it is the asexual mode of reproduction. In this binary fission, two individuals are formed from a single parent, but they are similar. They are identically, genetically, they are similar to that of parent. They look same like the parent. The two daughter cells which are being produced, they are similar to that of parent. The daughter cells are morphologically and genetically identical.
Ma'am, only
Binary,
daughter cells will be there.
they are called as daughter cells. The two cells which are there, the separation, the cells which are formed from the parent cell, the two cells, they'll be dividing into more cells also. So
Sun cells.
these two cells again they can produce more cells. They can
Means they are only called a female cells, not the male cells, ma'am.
no, it's not there that those are female or male. It's not differentiated. It's being told that two cells form more cells which are being originated from the parent cell. They are called as daughter cells. The differentiation of sex is not there. Either it might be male or female. Male or female is not there in amoeba. It's just called
Yes.
that daughter cells. Okay? Differentiation of sex is not there. So is this clear about binary fission? Binary fission takes place in, binary fission is seen in bacteria, yeast, euglena, amoeba, and paramecium. So now if we see another type of asexual reproduction, what is another type of sexual reproduction after binary fission?
Budding.
So now we'll see budding. Budding is seen in yeast. Budding is commonly seen in yeast. So for what sake we use yeast?
For pizza.
For making pizza bases, bread.
Yes, cake, bread, pizza. So we use yeast. So yeast cell, it looks like this. You can see in this picture,
Yes, ma'am.
it looks like this, a yeast cell. It is very small. It will be in the form of powder and it will be in the form of small granules. You can
Ma'am, it
start.
smells very bad, ma'am. Very
Yeah, it
weird.
smells very bad. So
If we keep in the water, it will be like a dirty smell, ma'am.
yeah, dirty smell will be coming. So what happens? How this yeast cell, they increase them in number, how they reproduce, how they produce themselves. So budding is the process which takes place in yeast. Firstly, developing. Yeast starts develop a bud. Here you can see a small bud extension is being developed here. A new bud is being formed here, and then chain of buds. You can see here chain of buds
Yes, ma'am.
in this picture. Chain
Ma'am,
of buds.
these won't separate.
They will separate. Chain
Then
of
why
buds.
the chain will be there, ma'am?
It is, that's why the name came, budding. It is a mode of asexual reproduction. In budding, a bulk-like projection is formed on one side of the body. A bulk-like projection is formed on one side of the body of an organism. In some organisms, more than one bud is seen. In some organisms, only one bud is seen. In some organisms, more than one bud is seen. Like here, you can see 3 buds, more than one. And in some, only one bud can be seen. So, what happens here? It overgrows. It grows. After growing to a particular shape, after growing to a particular size, then it separates from the parent, forming the new individuals. Now it separates. Now it separates from the parent. Now they all separate from the parent. And now they try to separate and they try to form new buds. They separate and they try to form new buds. Inside there is a nucleus. Here you can see the nucleus. You can see the nucleus inside.
Yes, ma'am. The yellow color.
The cytoplasm is there. Here this is the filled, it is filled with cytoplasm and the nucleus from the parent organism. The buds, the new buds, they also get the cytoplasm as well as the nucleus. You can see here the bud, the daughter bud, the buds which you are separating from the parent bud. They are also getting new nucleus, new cytoplasm. So before separation from the parent, the cytoplasm and the nucleus will be transferred. Budding is seen in yeast, hydra, and sponges. Please underline it. It is also there in your course book. Underline this also. Underline it in budding. Underline. Budding is seen in yeast, hydra, and sponges. Gradually, the bud overgrows and separates from the parent, forming new individuals. The cytoplasm and the nucleus from the parent organisms are transferred into the buds before separation from the parent. Please underline it with a pencil. Page number 28 in your course book.
Mom, I'm using highlighter.
Yes, Nitika,
Glitter pen.
use pencil.
Ma'am,
Yes, Nitika.
ma'am, this is Neha.
Yes, Nitika. I'm changing the slide.
Yes, ma'am.
Nitika wants to tell something.
Ma'am, Neha, ma'am. Ritika saying, ma'am, can you say what you said until now in the chat box?
Until now, in the chat box, it's really impossible to say now because we are. So after budding, we'll see spore formation, how the spores are formed. So here you can see the spore. Here this is the rhizopus. It's an organism which is called as rhizopus, which forms spores. Spore formation in rhizopus. So we'll just discuss it now. So what is spore? Spore formation is commonly, it's a method of asexual reproduction in lower forms of life. The cell gets enveloped through a tough covering and the entire surface is known as a sporangia. So here if you see this one, it's a tough covering. Inside it, there are lots and lots of spores which are present inside this sporangia. It's called as sporangia. Sporangium. It's called as sporangium or sporangia. So under favorable conditions. So it's a tough envelope, the tough covering. So entire surface is known as sporangia. Under favorable conditions, this spore, it bursts and then all the spores are released out. After breaking this tough wall, this thick wall is being broken off and then the sporangia, the spores are being released. These spores then germinate into new individuals. All these small pores, they germinate into new individuals. These spores are light in weight and very small in size. By this method of asexual reproduction, plants overcome unfavorable conditions of heat, dryness, high temperature, etc. So children, here if you see this, one second, try to erase it. So here if you see, the spores are usually lightweight and very small. Now after dispersal, they just fly away. They are very light in weight. Because of their lightweight, they fly in the air. These spores, they fly and they just fall on the ground and they try to develop into new individual. After falling on the soil,
Yes, ma'am, I saw this.
up into new individual. So this method of asexual reproduction Plants can overcome the unfavorable conditions of heat, dryness, and high temperature. So when the conditions are not favorable, when there is lot of heat and dryness, then they can convert themselves in the form of spores. This is a very tough covering. They have a very tough covering. They can overcome the very hard, hot situations, high temperatures, they can overcome by forming spores. I just want to give you one more example. So, okay, I think you've understood this. So I'll just erase it off.
Ma'am, I saw this type of plant, ma'am. It looks like a flower. When the wind blows with a high pressure, all the flowers like this. It will be like a bud on the flower. It will fly.
Okay.
It will fly, and most we can see these buds in the when the trains goes. Beside of the train tracks will be there, ma'am. I saw beside of the tracks. It will be there.
But these are very
Ma'am,
small. These
Yes.
are right.
ma'am, there are lots of these flowers near my home, ma'am.
Okay. But we cannot see this rhizopus. It's not a plant.
No, ma'am, it's like an insect. The adults say that they are insects.
Okay.
I don't remember.
Ma'am, now we didn't see about this fragmentation and regeneration.
Yeah. So now we'll go through the fragmentation. So another form of asexual reproduction is fragmentation. Now it's clear, children, about binary fission, budding, and spore formation.
Yes, ma'am.
So we'll go through fragmentation now. Fragmentation. It can be seen in planaria. Fragmentation in planaria. So this is a type of fragmentation. Fragmentation is nothing but it is regeneration. It is regeneration. What is regeneration of the parts? Usually in the lizard, if you see in the lizard usually they just they lose their tail, isn't it? They lose their tail, lizards.
Yes, ma'am.
So again the tail part is being regenerated. The body part is being regenerated. So the parts, so this regeneration means getting back the parts. So if you see in this planaria, the same thing happens in planaria also. In planaria, the fragmentation, the process in which the body of an individual, it breaks up into two or more parts. Here in this picture, you can see the fragments of the parts of planaria. It divides into three parts. The head separates, body between middle of the body it separates, and then the tail part it separates. All the three parts again they regenerate into three new individuals. Okay, the three
Ma'am?
of one body. Yes, any doubt?
Yes, ma'am.
So the three parts of this one parent planaria, this parent planaria, it separated into three parts. It divided, it has been cut into three parts. It has not been cut manually, it has been cut naturally. It has been separated. So then again, three new individuals are being
Ma'am, but then there will no be parent plan area.
planet parent planaria is divided into three.
Yes, ma'am. There will be no parent.
There will be no parent because it is being divided.
Yes, ma'am.
So this parent will be there in any one of the, it has been divided. It will be there. Parent will be there in all the three of them. It will get the characteristic. The parent, because the parent is being divided into three, the three individuals will get the characteristic of the parent. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I think Snitika, am I audible to you, Snitika? Are you able to hear me? Okay. So is this clear now? Examples also given, like the arms of starfish. If the arms of starfish is being cut, then it can regrow its parts. and even in the case of a lizard tail also. And this can be seen in Spirogyra, flatworms, see this, and tapeworm. Planaria in the sense of flatworms, yes?
Ma'am, your voice is not clear. It seems, ma'am, Snitika, she typed
Okay,
in the chat box.
okay, okay. For
It's
others,
talking, it seems.
it's clear?
Yes.
For all
For
of
Yes,
us?
us,
ma'am.
it's clear only, ma'am.
Okay. For Snitika, I'll just repeat this once again. The whole topic, I'll repeat it to you, okay? Snitika, I just want you to leave a message on WhatsApp to me so that I can contact you. Leave a message on WhatsApp.
Ma'am, now it's okay. It seems, ma'am.
Okay.
She typed message.
So this fragmentation, this type of asexual reproduction, the fragmentation is seen in Spirogyra, flatworms like Planaria, and tapeworms. They can reproduce by this method. Okay, is it clear, children?
Yes, ma'am.
So this is about the asexual reproduction. I'll just clear it off.
Hmm.
So we have seen all
Anna.
things of asexual reproduction, and now sexual or vegetative reproduction involves the production of new plants by the use of vegetative parts from an existing plant. Like you have seen on the screen, you can see the stems, leaves. You all have cut the branches, small branches of rose plant. You just go and plant them again in the soil. They try to grow the roots. Okay,
It again gives a
plant part,
new plant.
yes,
Yes.
plant parts, they can even show the characteristics of, again, they can grow by themselves. So this is the vegetative plant parts are capable of asexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction is also seen here. So what type of plant parts show asexual reproduction? Stems,
Roots,
Roots,
Mm,
stems,
buds,
leaves,
roots, bugs,
seeds,
and
Leaves,
seeds,
stems,
ma'am. Ma'am, inside in some plants there will be buds, and inside the buds there will be small seeds.
seed,
That
ma'am.
also show the
seed.
yes,
That
yes, ma'am.
seeds are different. That is not a type of asexual reproduction. Here we'll discuss in detail about how stems carry out asexual reproduction, how leaves carry out asexual reproduction, and even roots also. So firstly, we'll see stems. Stems are of two types: creeping stems. Creeping stems in the sense the runners. You can see in this picture, the stems, they can spread themselves and then they'll fix them in the soil and the roots are being produced. So this bud is being bud came out of the soil. Here you can see the roots also here down. So this is the part of stem which is being creeping. It's been creeping. It's been going, it growing in length, and it's been fixing itself in the soil, and then the roots are being shown. So these are runners. Runners show the asexual reproduction. Plants grow horizontal stems parallel to the ground or almost touching the ground. So new shoots grow upward, forming new plants at frequent intervals. Not only this, it might be go this side, it may even go that side, so they can spread at frequent intervals. For example, strawberry, here you can see strawberry, chlorophytum, grass, even you can see the grass which you grow outside your lawn. Even grass show the same process of asexual reproduction. So these are the examples which you can see in the plant. One second.
11. Oh.
And now we'll see in leaves how it takes place in leaves. Only 2 minutes left, children.
1:11, ma'am. Time.
Yeah,
One.
Only
time
1 minute left,
is
ma'am.
minute. Okay, shall we continue it tomorrow?
Well,
Yes,
yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.